Hi guys. I have puppies down here that my daughter-in-law is getting ready to feed. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong camera because this camera I can move. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go real quick to be able to share um, to the groups. So I'm typing in the no, they'll stop in a second. Sorry, they'll stop in a second. Mom's getting them dinner. Go. Share this really fast. And when you hop on, Zoe, knock it off. So, um, when you hop on, say hi. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Share this. Typos are a thing. Okay. Let's go see. Just want to make sure I can see my comments. Make sure that I can see. Hopefully they'll pop up here. I hope. So I'm just gonna stop there. Turn it there. Okay. So let me. Hi, Debbie. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I want to know before I flip around my camera. Um, so just make sure. I'm actually gonna go to the group now. If you guys comment, I am gonna be painting, so I'm not looking up at the screen as much. So let me know. Like, give me time. I'll answer your questions if I don't get to them while we're live, and the puppies will stop here in a minute. I'm gonna put my keyboard away here in a second. I just want good. Thank you, Debbie. So happy you're here. And actually, I want it muted. Okay. So now think I can see comments. So I think we're okay. And I wanted to try and invite people, but hopefully people will see that I'm on. Zoe, Mama's upstairs making their food for dinner. Sorry, I keep looking at the wrong camera. Mom's upstairs making food for dinner. So what I thought I would do, I'm going to move my keyboard, and I'm going to have my water here, and I'm going to move my mouse because um, inevitably I will make a huge mess. So I don't know if I let you guys know, but I have some plans. This I think I told you guys this truck centerpiece wood flower projects thing has been on my I want to do, and I have plans for it, and I've kind of expanded on it a little bit. So I'm going to show you a few. I'm going to show you the truck. I've actually already dry brushed. I've done no pastels on it yet, and just FYI, Melena's still on her way here. She had some car trouble in South Dakota. She's most of the way through South Dakota now. We thought she was originally going to be here by today, um, and I thought she might be here by tomorrow. But I'm starting to think that she's probably not going to be here until Monday because of where she is and where I know she's going to stop in Iowa. I'm thinking she's not going to make it till tomorrow. She's still about 10 hours away, which the way I drive and the way she drives is a completely different thing. So I'm going to let me just make sure that I get this. I want to. Sorry, I'm just going to try and finish this thing up really quick. I want to. I don't even know how to do this right now. Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. When it's just you, um, it's a little It doesn't matter. I'm not even going to worry about it now. Okay. I won't worry. I was going to try and invite people because everyone's like, let me know when you're going to go live. And I'm just like, well, sometimes I'm ready now. So I'm just wiping off my paint all over my things. So anyway, so Malene is potentially not even going to be here until Monday. It could be Tuesday. We don't know. So, but I said that I was going to go, and she's still going to paint a truck with me. Because I have several trucks here that I'm going to paint. So I'm going to show you the one that I've dry brushed already. I have done no pastels on it, but I actually wanted to show you guys how I like to dry brush, and I'm trying to get over my. It has to be very perfect. It has to be very perfect while I'm dry brushing. So I do go back and clean things up. I make quite a bit of a mess. This truck here, I base coated with graphite. You can't tell. I base coated it with graphite so you could have, some of the door jamb details, but I knew I wanted it light gray. So I actually took slate gray. Hi, Terry. I took slate gray and I dry brushed it. So I'm going to show you guys like one of my favorite dry brushes, and I'm going to show you how fast I'm going to dry brush this truck. Because realistically, I do want most of the color that I'm dry brushing with to be the dominant color on this, because then when I go to shade with it, it's just going to add, that much more. And I haven't decided. I don't know if with the gray one, keep looking at the wrong camera. I don't know if with the gray one, I'm going to shade with a black or a dark gray to give it all of that dimension, or if I'm going to take a color that makes it look more like rust. I haven't quite decided that yet. I think with the cream colored one, because what I did with this one, which is what we're going to be, and hopefully you'll be able to see the colors better once I flip it. I know my, there's so many lights. I know that it's hard with the way that the light is in my basement. You can't really see the colors here. But right now, this is honey brown, right? Let me just double check. Is it honey brown or sable brown? This is sable brown. Yes, this is sable brown. So I base coated it sable brown. And in fact, you'll see I have, I don't know if you guys can see, I have some green. You can't really see it. I'll show you when I flip it over. On the windows, I actually like to outline my windows. And a lot of the times I'll do my windows more of a gray color, and then because I want them to look like glass. But with these, I am just doing them dark. So I'm going to show you guys kind of how I go about it. Malene seems to make things look so much easier. She makes things look easy. She paints really fast and doesn't care how messy she is. So I'm going to flip the camera around here and show you guys how I'm going to dry brush this. And I'll even show you guys how I'll clean up the windows, because I'll make a mess. I will get paint all over all of the things I've already painted. But I'll show you what I kind of came up with. Because my plan is that I do want to sell these as centerpieces. I'm spitting on things. I want to sell these as centerpieces. And if you guys, I have the one that I did over too far away for me to get to. But my plan was to be able to sell these wood flower centerpieces. But I did also want people to have the ability that if they bought a truck, if they wanted to swap out flowers based on the season, that they could have the ability to do that. And I wanted to make sure that when I created them, that they were easy to remove. And the one that I showed you guys last week, I glued the flower foam down. So I've actually done so much this past week, kind of preparing for Malene. And I'm not 100% sure how well this is going to work because I have some hot glue things. But so my plan, these are pool noodles. Sometimes I really hate working, wrong camera, I really hate working with the flower foam because it's messy and it gets squished, and like, I don't always like working with it. And I did want something that would be just a little bit more resilient if you decide you want to remove them. So what I'm trying to do is come up with something where I can build the flowers here so they can be sold separately as inserts, if that makes sense. So, but I wanted something that would kind of go flush. So this is the first time I've even tried to insert this. But so I kind of have this. So this is going to sit in here, and I'll be able to stick the flowers in it. So this is also going to let me show you guys how, and this is just a little piece of wood, and then this was a purple flower, a purple pool noodle, and I painted it green because I didn't necessarily want purple to show through for these couple. I think that because I'm actually going to be painting another truck completely different. Melaine always goes, she always has these amazing ideas. I give her a lot of them, but then she takes them someplace. So, she's talking about maybe wanting to do flames on the side and all kinds of stuff. And like right now, I'm just trying to do simple, like fall looking centerpieces. Um, so I ordered 10 trucks, and so I still have 11 here because I had 3. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and paint a couple. And again, this is the gray one. So I'll figure out what I'm going to shade with this. I might even shade with like the Payne's gray that has a little bit more blue in it. But I'm not 100% sure yet because we kind of figured out as we go. And I haven't painted the grill or anything yet. Even though I will dry brush that as well, but I haven't done that yet. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to also paint that black and then dry brush the color shift on it. So it kind of has a shimmer, but I don't know yet. But this one, I am going to show you guys how I am going to dry brush this. Gotta get my paint thing. And then I'm going to flip this camera around, and I tend to move stuff really close to me, so I'm going to try and have it where you can see. You might see me adjusting the camera a little bit to try and get it to where, like, because I have a tendency to, like, have it really close to me. But so I just wanted to explain to you guys the part that we're going to do, and if this doesn't go too terribly long, I'll try to fit some pastel shading with the flowers. And right now, these are the flowers, just to show you guys, these are the flowers that I dyed with the wood flower dye. They're lighter, they're not as vibrant as the orange and yellow and purple and the ones that I did for like the Halloween themed one, but they're going to be kind of easier for me to show you guys. It'll be an easier contrast for you guys to see how to shade them with pastels if you choose to. You don't have to. They're beautiful as they are. I'll show you how to, do a couple things with them, but I did airbrush a few that me and Melaine might use. If you have an airbrush, great, but it is a little messy. And I've ruined, it was the first time I've used my airbrush for something other than blowing dust off of my bisque. So I've ruined 2 needles and 2 nozzles. 2 needles and 1 nozzle. It's just a mess, but I'm still just learning, so that's okay. So I'm just gonna flip my camera around and show you guys how fast I'm gonna dry brush this and how I'm gonna clean it up, because this color is actually gonna be the color that is the most prominent on here. I do want this color to be the forward color, but I did base coat it in a darker color so I could have some contrast. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and take this. Let's see if I can't. And then, is this how I want this, or do I want it this way? Yeah, I want it this way because this is literally how I'm sitting. So, okay, and I'm probably gonna hit this camera a bazillion times because let me try and put it up a little bit. We'll try that because my brush is gonna hit it, but we're just gonna do what we're gonna do. So I have old candle holders that I'll use that are empty, that had candles in them that I put my scrubby thing at the bottom, and I also have a couple other like little scrubbers that I'll use when I want to paint my brush. But this is going to be the brush that I use. It's a number 10. This is the Zem white bristle filbert interlock one. This is the natural hog hair brush. Hi Angela, how are you? So this is the brush that I use. These are mine and Elaine's favorite dry brush brushes. We love the filberts, the flats, and the rounds. Um, I think I told you guys I started selling them because I love them so much. They are my go-to brush. They're my favorite brush to dry brush with. In fact, I don't think I dry brush with anything else now. I'm trying to get some of my mess out of the way because I have a lot of mess. I have Clorox wipes. Look at my cute little, I got it from free, my Temu cup. There's nothing in it. I meant to get something in it, but I didn't. So I will just be thirsty. So, there's going to be people on here that are like, oh my God, you're doing it wrong. And I'm here to tell you there is no doing it wrong. It depends on the effect that you want to have. Um, and I've learned from Elaine, and Elaine is very heavy with her dry brushing, heavy handed. So, and because I do want this color to be the color that we really do see. I mean, I want it to be like this kind of neutralish brown, but I want this lighter color to be the color like I'm gonna go crazy with it, and it's gonna get everywhere. But I'm heavy-handed when I dry brush, and if it were a piece that I really just wanted to give it a soft look, I would try to be more careful. But I'm all right. I'd probably wipe out more paint, but you're gonna see as I go that I load it up. I load it. So I load it. I always hate how I have to wipe off all this paint, and then I'm wasting paint. So these dry brushes, once I found these, they're absolutely my favorite. Any of you who have gotten dry brushes from me, I have a lot of paint on, so you're gonna see where I'm gonna kind of go do my edges. Um, Anyone who's gotten dry brushes from me, you can sit there and let me know how much do you love these brushes. And I'm a painty mess. My nails are a mess. So don't judge. I didn't try to get beautified for this. So right now I'm really getting on all of these edges. But you're going to see like as I get in here, because I'm going to be doing shading with my pastels. So you're going to see me get in here. You're going to see me get paint all over these tires, and you're going to see me fix them. I really like to paint some of these darker tires, these areas first, and then do my base coat, because then when I go back through, I can really see how far I can go with the paint. And when it's just the bisque color, it's hard. I feel like it's hard to see. So there is a method to my madness. And again, like the look that I'm going for, I'm going really heavy with the paint because of the look that I'm going for. See how I'm getting it on there? I'm not going to worry a lot about that. Dry brushing the truck earlier today was probably the fastest dry brushing job I've ever done, because I really did want the truck to primarily be that lighter gray. So I was just going bananas. And again, with these brushes, I love how it lays down. And I love the filberts. If you don't have the money where you want to get, the master brush set or the rounds and the flats and the filberts, you really can't go wrong with the filberts. The filberts are kind of the best of both worlds, and they're just they're so awesome. So I have quite a bit of paint on here still. So I try to take it when I have my heaviest paint and go where I really want a lot of paint. And I know these lights are bright. Let's see if I can help adjust that a tiny bit. Maybe that'll make it a little easier to see. You guys let me know. Hopefully you're able to see what I'm doing. I'm in a dark basement, and I have all of these lights to try and help you guys. And then I'm like, see, I always go close, trying to do it where you guys can see what I'm doing. But I do tend to go close, and so you see how I'm getting a little too much there. That doesn't really matter. That would matter on another piece. It doesn't matter to me on this one, because this is actually gonna end up being completely this top coat. So once I go back through, do you like the flat, Angela? Yeah, I love the filberts. I mean, I like the flats too when I really want a good clean edge, but I love my filberts. So do that. So I'm getting a little bit more paint. Um, Melena is always yelling at me because I don't hold my brush back far enough. But I do try to make sure that I'm pulling the paint out of the brush. Let's do this. I'm not great. Normally, when I'm painting, I'm watching a TV show that I don't really need to pay attention to because I've seen it 1,000 times, but it's on in the background. So I'm not an instructor, nor do I think I will ever be an instructor. But I did want to show you guys kind of my process on this before we get to putting it together and the flowers and everything. And we'll probably do this a little bit again with Melaine, probably more so with the shading part. She is the shading guru. um, and that way you guys can watch what she does, but I'm just going to show you guys how I'm going to get in here and use my filbert. See, like in these spots I can use it more like a round, which I love. The same way with the TV. Yeah, I have to have something on all the time, even when I'm working. My husband is always, babe, babe. I'm like, what? I always have headphones on because I'm trying not to disturb other people. But I work from home. My day job, I work from home, and so my office is actually in the dining room, and it's open into the living room, and that's where my laser is set up too. So a lot of times, because I'm at my job 8 hours a day, it's a lot easier for me to be able to, after I've got the files and stuff done, I usually work on those on the weekends. It's a lot easier for me to just, stick. You can't leave the laser just running without, being attended. So I'll stick, 'cause some of these coaster sets take, oh, it's storming. I hope I don't lose connection. Some of these coaster sets take 2 hours to laser. So, it's just nice to be able to be up there and do that. But the laser can be loud. So I've always got headphones in, and I've always got something on in the background, whether it's a podcast or a TV show or something. And so every time my husband tries to talk to me, I mean, I carry my iPad around with me. Like, I'm going to do dishes, I'm still listening to my show. I'm going to vacuum, I mean, I'm still listening to it. I might not necessarily carry the iPad, with me there. But so he's always just like, I can't ever talk to you because you always have your headphones on. And I'm like, well, I can't ever talk to you because you're always on TikTok. So it's a nice little battle. So you see how I'm getting paint on these windows. And I don't really care. Like, I actually want a lot of this paint. There's going to be the shading that I do that's going to give me the look that I want, but I'm not trying to make these trucks look like super beaters right now. That's not my goal. I want them to be, like restored classics. They might have a little bit of rust on them. I don't know yet, but these ones I want to be just a little bit more kind of home decor-ish, at least for these first couple I'm doing. Nice little fall home decor item that, you want to have out, and I don't want it to look completely beat up, at least these couple that I'm working on. But I have plenty more to do. I have tons of flowers. I'm actually getting ready to make some boutonnieres and corsages with the wood flowers. Um, my youngest son has a girlfriend. His mom called me up today because I was like, hey, if he's planning on taking his girlfriend to homecoming, because I know, that'll sneak up on us. I want to make the corsage and boutonniere. And so I've got some stuff coming because I dyed so many wood flowers. I was like, well, between all the signs that I'm going to make, the welcome signs and stuff like that, I dyed a ton of flowers. And so I'm sitting here I'm getting ready to make so much stuff. Hi, Nancy. How are you? So this is my first coat. There'll be another coat. Like I said, this is gonna be completely this lighter color. I just wanted that darker color to. Um, I don't typically do my base coat. Like when people dry brush, a lot of people will do black and then dry brush layers of color over it. I don't typically. I am for that rainbow frog that I want to work on, but that's just because I want his spots to be black. That's the only reason I did that. I usually put my base coat down as just a darker color of what I want the color to be, and then I dry brush a lighter color over it. And then as I want to go lighter to add the highlights, I add the buttermilk or the white. This one I'll be adding buttermilk. For the gray, I added white. So go ahead. And I get all the high points, right? Like, the way that we were taught is make sure you get, the high points. That's going to be where your light hits. And so that's where you'll see that I'll end up doing a lot of my light buttermilk to really highlight there. And I want to make sure that where that window is meeting, that that there's some paint there. So I am making a mess on the black, but that's expected. I'm not worried about that. It's actually a lot easier to fix. Um, I use my black swirl flat brushes. It's super, super easy. Hi, Myra. How are you? I am doing good. I'm still waiting for Malene. She's almost in Iowa, I think. I don't know. I think she's stopping at the Corn Palace. And so I was expecting her today originally, and then her truck, she had those issues with her truck. And, so of course she's like, "You're not painting without me, are you?" And I'm like, "Yes, because I postponed already, and I told everybody that I'd be painting some, but when you get here, we'll still paint." Um, so I told I was like, "We're still painting, but I'm still going to go live and do some of the demo stuff. And then, when you're with me, it's just going to be a bonus." So that is what we're doing. And then I'm going to see how fast I can get through this to see if I can get to the pastels on the flowers. I did discover, as I, dyed them, because you do put the vegetable glycerin in with the water and the paint to try and keep the flowers soft. And the very first time I dyed the flowers, I didn't use enough vegetable glycerin. So they didn't stay very soft. I mean, they're not going to be super soft. Like, they're not going to be as soft as real flowers. But I didn't put enough in. So when I used my pastels, when I was playing around with shading them, I didn't really worry about um, having my brush, touch the flower and then, put it back in the pastels and have any kind of residue. But the flowers that I will be showing you guys how to pastel on, they actually have an appropriate amount of glycerin in them, so it's keeping them softer. And so I'm going to show you guys how, I'll kind of scrape some of the powder off in like the lid or, in some reservoir, because I'm not going to want to stick my brush that is probably getting some residue from the glycerin. I mean, it's not that it's wet or anything, but I don't want to take the chance of ruining my pastels. Sorry, I am not a professional teacher, so hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I put it up a little bit. It's not as much of a glare. I don't know if further up or further down works better for you guys. Let me know. If you need it closer, I will do it closer. But I know most people know how to dry brush. I'm just showing you my intent and how I am going to town with it, because this is the color I want. Okay. I mean, I really load this brush. And you'll see this is where I told you I got green on it, because when I was testing my little flower fixture, um, painting on pool noodles is not the same as painting on bisque. It doesn't just soak in and dry up really quick. So it had been sitting for a few minutes, and so I assumed it was dry, and I was not correct. So I actually gotten green all over the truck. I had to sand that off a little bit before I painted it, because I had the windows were painted before I even put the base coat down. And so I had to sand some of that off. Let's see who's here. What project are you guys working on? I don't know if everyone here is going to try and do this project like me and Elaine are doing. But if not, what are you guys working on? I'm already sitting here painting Christmas stuff. I didn't ever really paint summer stuff. I got the frog with the stencils ready, but I didn't. I'll have to do a video and show you guys what I did with some like garden stones. Made some little ladybugs and bees out of garden stones, but I definitely did not paint as much summer stuff as I had expected. So, but when you do hop on, say hey. If you have any questions about the project, let me know. I know Halloween, dude, is what I have a vampire coming out of a coffin over here that I base coated a month ago that I need to dry brush and do stuff with. But I've been struggling a little bit with what do I want to do. I had a really great idea to use some of that flocking stuff for the coffin, but I'm noticing it's not actually sticking the way that I had expected to, so I'm debating. Pumpkins, nice. I have some pumpkins I did 2 years ago I'm not finished with, because I'm the queen of not finishing things. I keep saying I'm not going to start another new project until I get all of these other ones finished, and then I start another new project. I'm actually going to do a live here too. All the new coasters that I listed on the website, they're so dang cute. Laser and coasters forever. But I'm going to show you guys how I did that method on that one where I used the watercolors, and I literally I globbed the watercolor on and let it dry, and then like ran some water over it and wiped it back, and it looked really great. So I'm going to show you guys that too. I have just been preparing for Elaine. Work has been very busy, and we went and bought a new couch today because our couch has been broken for a while. And my husband finally was like, "Do you want to go look at couches?" And I've been saying no, 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 because we have 4 dogs here, 2 cats. I was like, "No, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait because when my son and daughter-in-law decide to move out, then there won't be as many dogs, and then there won't be any cats." But we couldn't wait that long. I mean, the couch was just awful. So we went and bought a couch today. It'll be here Wednesday. So I'm probably going to be taking a weekend where I take a break with him and sit on the couch and just relax. I tend to have a hard time relaxing. I'm always doing something. Okay, so this is coat 1. Forgive the fly that's flying around here. I got to get my white ceiling back up. I put a sheet up to help reflect some of the light a little bit better, but we had to take it down when we had the plumbing problems. So, see. Oh, and I actually, on these, I paint the bottoms of my pieces, and I don't usually do any kind of dry brushing or anything on them. I am on these because I'm putting kind of fairy lights and stuff up through here, and I just feel like it just makes the whole piece look better. So this is a me decision. This doesn't have to be a you decision. Um, Melaine doesn't paint the bottoms of her pieces at all. She gets yelled at by Miss Jessie. They should at least be base coated, and so she doesn't do it. I want to say she did it on one and was like, look, Miss Jessie, I did it, but she feels like it's a waste of time. And I know some people feel that way. I prefer to paint the bottoms, and I am dry brushing the bottoms of this a little bit. So I'm just going to go back through, finish this, and then I'm going to go back through to make sure that I have as much of this color down as I want, because then I'm going to add some light buttermilk or regular buttermilk to it, not doing the light. But I'm going to add some buttermilk to it to lighten it back up to hit all those high points. And then I'll let it sit. After I clean up the black, I'll let it sit. So there's a lot of people out there that when you're dry brushing, you do it completely different. This is the way that I do it. A lot of it is because of how I learned from Elaine. A lot of it is just me trying to get through it. And because I want to get to the pastel part. Dry brushing really does make it. See, I want more. I don't want so much of that. I don't want as much of that underneath color coming through on the smooth parts of the card. And this is why I like these filberts so much, because I can use them like a round brush on these parts. It really lays that paint down. And I beat my brushes up. This set is one of my most used sets. I probably should open myself up another set. I sell them. I might as well open myself up another set. But I just use them and use them and use them. I'm really hard on them. So I've got that how I want it. I want this to have more. This to have more. And I'm going to go back in to these sections because that's the smooth part that I want to have more. And I might actually have to put a little more of this paint in because I'm still going to work on layering it in here. I want this to be really light, this light brown, because when I shade in these corners, I want that shading to really come through. See how much I'm getting on the wheels? I'm not worried about that because I am going to go back through. But the reason I painted the wheels, like I told you guys, is because, first of all, the black, it's this color that if you don't get it all the way to where you want it, you can really tell. So I wanted to get the black down. So when I painted the base coat, when I go back for the black, I can actually see where I want the black to hit. So that's why I did it. That's a me thing. Doesn't have to be a you thing. I am not a professional. I am a crafter that paints my stuff to sell it. And I take a lot of time. These are literally the fastest things I've ever painted. I take so much time when I paint. I don't usually get through the dry brushing part this fast because, these trucks are easy to me. I mean, I've done enough of them. They're very easy to me. But I mean, sometimes I take 100 hours on a piece. Like, I am not a fast painter. Regardless of what this looks like, I am not a fast painter. So, do that. Do a little bit over here. Do more on my hood. I want that to be someday I'll get a professional camera set up, maybe. Since I don't plan on doing a lot of painting tutorials. I mean, I don't know. I might. Elaine's always just like, why don't you do a video? because it's so much work to set it all up. But start doing that. I start doing crazy things, beating up my brush over here. On this door. I knew when I put that paint in there, there was a big gloop in there. I need more paint. No, yes, it's the fun. I have done it before where I've grabbed the base coat. I'm like, oh yeah, grab it, and I'm dry brushing the base coat color. It does not make me happy. All right, so I'm really gonna focus now where these um, carvings are, um, where my high points are. I'm trying to keep an eye to make sure if you guys are leaving comments, I'm grabbing them. Again, I'll be shading with pastels, but I want to make sure I'm really getting the coverage that I want on the spots that I want. So here, there. Now, I don't, for the purposes of this, because this is actually going to get covered up by the flowers, you will know, I will show you guys like where I will shade it, because, people can use it. They can decide if they want to put, if they want to do flowers in at one time, or they want to get one of the little things, the truck inserts to put in the back, they can do that. Um, but because I'm doing the flowers on these, I'm not going to be focusing as much on that back window part because it's going to be completely covered. Here, a little bit more there. I think I'm ready to add some of my light buttermilk. It's going to be shaded, so it's going to be darker there, darker there. Yeah, so now I'm going to add some of my light buttermilk, which I need to shake up. I haven't used it in a while. Just add that in. And grab one of my little, I like to mix it. Elaine just loads a brush with it. She's the professional. I am not. She always just adds it back into the brush, loads the brush. Okay. Then I'm gonna go, especially where these carvings are, where the high points are. Just think of the shading and the shadows, and I'm gonna hit. And I, for the longest time, was not comfortable using one of the bigger brushes when I was doing this because I was like, oh no. And I'll be painting the door handles another color. But because it's like I need to be cleaner about it. I need to be neater about it. And I'm like that with a lot of my other pieces. But again, with this truck, um, I'm going to be going back and cleaning some of this stuff up. So you'll notice when I paint the grill and when I go to to dry brush that, I'll probably use a smaller brush. That lighter, a little bit of a lighter spot there. Let's see. Who else is here? Angela, Christmas ornaments. Oh, good, you paint your bottoms. Why am I not saying? Oh, my comments. I'm sitting here. It was on the same comments. Angela, what were you saying? You were saying doing a haunted house. Hi, Lori. Sorry, it was not automatically scrolling here. The comments. That's stupid. Angela's painting a haunted house. I'm trying to finish what she started. Yeah, girl. Same. Um, I'm not really sure how long she's going to stay with me, Angela. I mean, and actually, I think she's going to do a hotel. I don't have an extra bedroom. um, and I told her, she's more than welcome to stay on my couch. But of course, this couch I have is broken, and I have people who are, in and out pretty late, so I didn't want her to be getting disturbed. Um, as she's sleeping. My one son sometimes ends up having to work overtime until 3 in the morning, and I didn't want him to walk in and scare her or disturb her. So I think she's getting a hotel, and I think she's planning on being here for a few days. But no pressure on her. She can stay as long as she likes. We have projects that we want to do, but her she's been on the road a long time, so do that. So I think we're just gonna kind of play it by ear. I'll be happy if I even just get to see her for a day. So let me see. Let me get back down to here. Christmas. Oh yeah, so I'm putting fairy lights in these up through the bottoms and up through the flowers. I really like the fairy lights. Um, I even put a lot of the fairy lights inside some of the. I have a Santa here that I'm doing, and he's the one with the lantern. And I'll just put fairy lights up inside of that as well, because um, I just like the look of it. It's not so bam in your face. It's just a little bit more delicate. So I really do love using those. Get this. Getting all these high spots. Do this part of the door here. There, my high spots there. See. I really wish I could just scroll and let me see. Although this is the new, I was using StreamYard before and I moved it. So there are, I'm supposed to be able to do multiple cameras, and I could not for the life of me. They all work when I do them individually, but for whatever reason, it's not recognizing them when I'm trying to do multiple cameras. So got to get that figured out, but it's not as important to me as just getting the video done. So we'll get there. That's why I use this one, because it's flexible and I can flip it and move it, which I can't do on my phone. Every time you try to flip a live video or flip your phone, it goes wonky. Here, this spot, shading, and of course I'm going to do the lights and all that stuff in red and whatever. I have found that I get very stuck on painting everything perfectly, and then I go to dry brush it and it's a mess, and I have to go back and fix it. So that's why I haven't completely painted everything. Okay. It'll be the shading on here that makes it amazing. Oops, I forgot to do this one. That would have been obvious. And even after I do the shading, I will take some of the lighter colors and I'll accentuate the highlighted spots with the pastels. So it's not just shading, it's also highlighting. There. This right here. Where is she go? Oh, she's gonna go. She's headed back to Virginia. She's making her way back to Virginia. Um, she's got to get back to her camper and stuff. She's gotta finish up some stuff. She can only, that campground is only open until October, so I think she's going to pick it up. Um, I hesitate to even say where her final destination is after that, because it can change. So I'll let you guys know. But I don't even think she 100% knows what the plan is. I know she really liked Oregon, so that might be what she ends up doing. But she's right now. She's kind of just letting, um, and she'll let you know. Like, she's letting her angels guide her. Is what she's doing. She is um, she is believing in all of that. Am I breaking up a lot, Nancy? The video or the sound? I don't know if it's because I don't even know what microphone's being used. Let me see if. Let me check. Testing. Yeah, let me know if it's my voice or not. It is storming here, so it also could be my Wi-Fi. I suppose that could also be it. Hopefully when I download this live, um, maybe the video itself won't be broken up a lot and I can repost it. I'm going to try and get some of these on my video. Both. Yeah, it's got to be the storm outside. That's the only thing I can think of, because it is a thundering and a lightning out there right now. So push this up here. I think I'm happy with that right now for the. Well, let me just do straight buttermilk on a couple of these spots. Get the highlights I want. Yeah, I don't blame her either. Right now she's letting her angels guide her. Like, she had been in South Dakota for quite a while. There was things she wanted to see, and then and it was funny because when she was supposed to be here last weekend, I was like, it was funny. I'm just like, dude, we were on the phone the one day, and she's like, I'm just not in a rush to get back. I don't have any place I have to be, and I was like, you have to be here, and she's like, oh yeah, what's today? And she did that to me again this week, on Thursday, because she's been in South Dakota, and she's like, well, I'm just gonna do this and start heading back, and then by Thursday, like, I literally am not seeing her car budge from maybe 5 miles from where she was the day before, and so finally Thursday, because she did have a storm Wednesday, and so when I talked to her Thursday, she was just like, well, I wasn't going to drive in that. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't blame you. I'm like, but, when do you think you'll be here? Because, I want to make sure that I can let people know. And she's like, well, what day is it? And I just laughed. I was like, well, it's Thursday. And originally, the plan was for her to be here Friday, which I already knew wasn't going to happen. So then she's like, oh, yeah, no. I just want to go see, the interior. I still have that left to see. And then I'll be getting on the road. And then the only place I'll really need to stop from after that is in Iowa. She wanted to see the Corn Palace. And I'm like, all right, cool, dude. And then I am terrible. I'm not on TikTok a lot. And I know she's been posting a lot on TikTok. And so when she called me the next day and I literally saw she hadn't budged from the day before, she hadn't come any closer, I was like, so guess you're not going to be here Saturday, because then that's what we had discussed was, she'd be here by Saturday. She's like, no, dude, this thing with my car. And I was like, whoa, what are you talking about? And I guess she'd actually sent me a text, and I hadn't seen the text because was on the phone. I have this couple of girlfriends. I have Melaine, who gets on the phone with me super early before I start work, but I have another friend who, before she starts work, will get on the phone. And so I was just like, wait, whoa, what do you mean? What happened? And so then she was telling me about it. And then she was very frustrated because, apparently her car was manufactured in Canada. So when it was originally sold, it was sold to somebody in Canada. So the warranty that she has on this truck is in Canada. It's like she bought it. She bought it in the States, but because the original owner lived in Canada, that's where this original warranty is through. And she didn't buy the extended. Um, and so when she was calling to get roadside assistance, they were just like, well, you're going to have to call roadside assistance in Canada. And she's like, wait, what? Why would I have to do that? And so this has been very frustrating for her. We were worried that it was going to be because the things it was doing and the noises it was making, we were worried that she might be stuck there. Um, and of course, she's got to get back. So she's just like, we were talking about like, well, she'll just need a loaner that she can haul her camper with so she can go back and do her stuff. And of course they don't do loaners like that. So it was just, it's been a mess, but she's handling it really great because the way she looks at it is, like there had been a really big storm the one night and she was just like, there was a reason that she ended up not getting any fuel. She didn't drive. She stayed in the interior. She's like, there's a reason that, I didn't get that far because if I would have been over there, I would have, been affected by the storm. She took video of it. It was like, really awesome. And I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm content with this. A little warmer in here. That corner is a little dark, but she's handling it all really great. But it was just so funny because I was like, well, because one of the things that I had originally said to her was like, when you do come to see me, make sure it's on the weekend because, I have to work during the week. And she's like, oh yeah, dude, no problem. So of course, this weekend will be over before she gets here, I think, which is totally fine because, we have the evenings and she can sit in bed. She misses, having dogs around all the time. So I know she'll probably whip my dogs into shape because, she's so good with them. She's like a dog whisperer. So I think it'll be nice if she'll have, like a back patio to sit on and stuff. And, I can even take my computer outside and work while she's here. So I'm just looking forward to having her here. So, um, but, today I saw, thought she was probably going to make it to the Corn Palace today since she was going to be here by tomorrow. And now I'm seeing she didn't make it to the Corn Palace. So I'm not expecting her here until at least Monday, potentially Tuesday. So, okay. Well, so I showed you that. So that was me, I'll say fast. I guess it wasn't really fast. It did take a little bit longer um, than the other one did, but a lot of that's because I'm talking and looking at, where's my soap? Where did I put my soap? There it is. Um, I actually have a bunch of like broken up bits of soap over here that I'm using. I give you guys the good soap. When you guys buy the brushes from me, you get the good soap. I get the little broken up pieces that are left over from when I'm making your soap. That's okay. So, just gonna clean this out. I use my little scrubby. I don't even have water in this one right now because I really just want to work my paint out. I want to see that I'm getting it worked out. Make sure that I'm my soap up in there. I do have these scrubbies on the website too. Millian's always like, you forget to tell people what you have on the website. So, again, any brushes you guys buy from me, those of you who have, you know this, but the Zen brushes are on my website. Dry brushes are there. anytime you buy brushes from me, you get a little soap. I don't even think I have one down here because I saved them all for you, but it's a little tin of soap. They actually last a lot longer than you think they do. Um, and then I have these scrubbies on there. Have these pastel brush cleaners on there. So I have a lot of that stuff on there. But so if you guys have any questions about brushes or whatever, need more brushes, hop on, take a look, get lots of little goodies. I don't know if I told you guys I was so excited because I was running out of that honey candy that I always put in your guys' boxes. And I finally found it. So I'm actually I'm going to show you guys real quick using my black swirls here. Um, what I'll do to go around and clean this up with the black. Just so you can see. And I will try and put it a little closer. Might be a little hard for me because I usually have these up closer. But so these are my black swirl flats. Um, they're quickly. I love all of the black swirls. Um, I have attended the black swirl rounds I use for my shading. So when I say my black swirl rounds, I mean these soft ones, right? These are the ones I use for my shading. But the filberts I like to use when I'm doing eyes and stuff like this. But I am very much a fan of these flats for things like this. So I actually get a really nice, I don't know if you guys can see that, a really nice edge. I usually have it closer because I am sight challenged this close, and I normally put my magnifier, my craft magnifiers on. But I actually want to get this up. I need my craft I hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm like trying so hard to keep it in the camera. And if I look up to see if you guys are commenting, I won't see it because I don't have my glasses on. So I do not have a steady hand. So I take a little bit longer with this stuff. But I love these flats because they do give me a nice edge when I go down. I need my craft glasses. I don't even know where they are. Is the problem. So this is just what I do to clean up these windows. Hopefully you can see. Because what I will be doing on these windows as well is I've been putting a gloss on them so the windows look shiny, kind of like glass. So you can see that. I put the camera down lower, but then I wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing. I can try. See, I can't even see if I'm getting paint. And I'm nervous. When people are watching you get nervous. There we go. So just go back through and clean that up. Do the same thing with the tires. Because I actually will dry brush a little bit on the tires to give them a different look. Some sorry, some contrast, but not the brown. I'm not dry brushing the brown. And for these ones, I'm actually doing white walls. So I am. This is just how I'm going to clean it up. And then if you see down in here, hopefully it's not too blurry for you guys. The camera's supposed to autofocus. Sorry. It's a weird angle. I'm not holding my brush the way I normally do because I have it trying to get it where you guys can see it. So bear with me. Very weird angle. See, I got paint there. Didn't do that on my other one, but that's just because of the angle. Let me put my glasses on and see if there's any questions. No, okay. So just finish this up. So I probably won't do the pasteling on the flowers tonight. I'll wait until tomorrow. Because this video is getting a little long. But I will get on and show you guys that tomorrow, as I promised I would. Oh, it's too close. Feeling I'm in, I'm out. I'm in, I'm out. So this is just showing you guys how I use my flat brush to clean this up. And then I'm going to do the white walls, and then the hubcaps will be a metal. So I'll be going in and cleaning up. Hold on, I'm going to put my glasses on, flip my camera, and finish up with you guys. So this was just real quick showing you how fast, even though it didn't seem like it was fast, how fast I dry brush one of the trucks, and then I will show you guys how to shade some flowers tomorrow with pastels. I can't do it with the airbrush, guys, because I have to set up a thing. Like, I just can't. I'm not set up yet to do that. Eventually I might be able to. And then we will spend some time either when Melane's here or when she's not here, we'll spend some time together, putting our insert in and making the arrangement. There's no wrong way to make the arrangement. So that's what we're doing. Let me see if there's any more questions. Nope. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate you getting on. And again, go check out the brushes on the website. You're going to love them if you don't have them. Let your friends know how much you love them. I love it when you guys. I see every time somebody asks, "What dry brushes do you use?" And there's so many of you that hop on and say, "The Zen brush is Gammy's Happy Bees." So I really appreciate that. And I will do more videos tomorrow for sure. And we will next week. We'll actually start working on me showing you how to do the watercolor on the slate engraved coasters, because there's so many cute ones that I have up on the website now. So if you have any questions, reach out. I'm happy to help. I appreciate you being here with me. Talk to you later. Bye.